On this episode, we are back with our Disney Prep series, and in this episode, we are sharing ways you can save on and for your Disney trip. Today is September 8th, 2023. This is episode 598 of the Main Street Magic Podcast.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I'm your host, Jeremy Stein, and I'm joined by my lovely wife, Rhonda.
Hey, guys.
Make sure you check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com, as well as follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at mainstmagic. If you've not done so already, head out to Facebook and search for the Main Street Magic community and ask to join. Then if you go ahead and hit that subscribe button, you're going to get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. If you're planning a trip to Disneyland or Walt Disney World, it can be quite overwhelming and at times just downright frustrating, especially when it comes to booking your advanced dining reservations. But don't worry, because Mouse Dining removes the frustration of booking Disney dining reservations, alerting you when they spot availability for your desired restaurant, date, meal, and time. Visit msmfriends.com to use this free service. So we are back with our Disney Prep series, which are episodes based around getting you really ready for your trip. Mm-hmm. And then we'll kind of slide into episodes where you're on your trip. This is going to do a little bit of both. This is going to help you not only save the amount that your trip can cost prior to booking it or when you're booking it. We're going to cover some ways that you can save up for that trip so you can pay it off in time. Oh. And then we're going to give you some tips that when you're actually on the trip, these are other ways that you can budget and save.
Nice.
So number one, Rhonda, is what? This is the very first thing you should do when you are planning your Disney trip.
You should use a travel agent. And I would totally suggest the best travel agent being Main Street Magic Travel.
Where can you find them?
mainstmagictravel.com. And why, you ask, how is that going to save money? First of all, it is free.
Yeah.
Free. My daddy used to say, if it's free, it's for me. Some of the reasons you use a travel agent is because they get you the best discounts and they plan things for you and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and when it comes to discounts, it can be extremely confusing, especially if just say you're an AP holder, you're a Florida resident, or there's all these different discounts. There's room packages, there's, room only. There's things we'll talk about a little bit later, like these dining cards. And
wow, that is all confusing.
It is very confusing. And so you could go in at any given time and you're at home thinking, I'm going to plan this trip and I don't need a travel agent. And there could be 4 or 5 different discounts or, promos or something that are going on. And travel agent and Main Street Magic Travel is going to make sure that you get the best discount. Even better is that if you just say you are at a discount or no discounts are out yet and you're paying rack rate on your room or your package, when a discount eventually comes out, and it most likely will, if it is better than what you're already booked, the travel agent will take care of that for you. You don't have to worry about getting back on the phone with Disney. You save your time. Time is money. And if you're someone that is like, well, you know what? I really like to compare the prices of hotels, and I really like to check out different ticket packages. Totally get it. That's fine. You can do that. And then you can hand it over to the travel agent to take care of everything. Mm-hmm. One, it just takes more headache off of you. And again, if there's discounts in the future, you don't have to worry about it. 2, you're supporting a small business.
Yes.
And as Rhonda said, it is completely free to you. Why would you not want to hand that off and have somebody in your back pocket leading up to your trip? Something else they're going to help you with is making recommendations on the best times to visit. Our travel agents go to Disney often. They know Disney very, very well. They know the good times. They know the bad times. If your dates and your trip is flexible, then they can help guide you maybe when the best time to go is. Now, Rhonda, what are some of the busiest times you probably want to stay away from?
You do want to stay away from them, but if you do go, there's obviously things you can do, but the busiest times, because these are times where people want to go.
Yeah, sometimes you can't help it.
Right.
But if you can avoid it, avoid these times.
As New Year's Day and Eve, and I feel like a couple those days, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, President's Day, spring break, and find out when, because there's a lot that Florida will have theirs, and then the North will have theirs, and it's
like
just
ours is usually in March, mid-March. And then usually up north and some of the other areas in the country, you'll find ranging anywhere from the week leading up to Easter to the week after Easter. So you do want to get an idea of when those types of things are going on.
Yes, for sure, spring break. 4th of July, usually.
Except for this past year, which was an anomaly, I think, because it was the slowest 4th of July in like the history of Disney, pretty much.
Oh, really?
But normally that is a very, very busy time.
Yeah. Thanksgiving week. Again, because you're off. Christmas break, because kids are off. And, of course, marathon weekends. The number one reason for marathon weekends is because you have thousands of runners. And not for nothing, they also not only run, so many of them take this as a vacation and they visit the parks.
Yeah.
So it is very, very busy. It is very hard to find hotels sometimes because they're just all staying on Disney property because they have to get up at 3 a.m. because we've done it. And then, they hang out, and it's super cool though. If you're a person that's a local, it is fun to go around a marathon weekend time. Yeah. But,
And one more I'll throw in here, especially if you're looking at staying at any of the All-Stars or Pop Century, is look at the ESPN Wide World of Sports calendar and find out when things are in town, like cheerleading competitions, dance competitions, football, any of those types of things. Because typically, again, those resorts are going to be super duper busy. And a lot of them often get a park day on their last day of the event. So that day is going to be super busy, usually in the park. So just something to think about. Now, if you're looking for some of the lesser busy holidays and times, traditionally, what are we looking at?
Well, we found number one, I feel like, is Mother's Day. I always joke and say that you got to take care of the kids, and moms don't want to do that. They want a day to themselves.
Yeah. We've had great luck Mother's Day weekend with crowds.
And I've
Very
loved
low
it. Very low. Memorial Day, Labor Day, Columbus Day, September, the whole month, because it's usually the hottest. I feel like it is so hot.
When schools are back in session, so you miss out a lot of that. And that's really coming out of that Labor Day, like Memorial Day too. Now, Memorial Day tends to be a kickoff weekend for summer for the locals, but a lot of them aren't immediately rushing to Disney parks. So sometimes that can be a good way to get down there when a lot of the other, schools and states and stuff throughout the United States aren't getting off until usually June sometime. So.
Correct. And then Labor Day, because we go back before that, and that's when...
And this past Labor Day saw lower attendance crowds. So, and Florida schools are all back in session at that time.
Right.
It can be a last hurrah for some of the northern schools.
Well, and this is also around hurricane season.
Yeah.
So that's why, it'll become lower too, because we did just supposedly have a hurricane. And I say that because, we were very grateful and blessed that there was only some wind and not much rain.
It dodged the central Florida area and leading up to the East Coast, but unfortunately not so lucky on the West Coast.
Right.
And I'll say, there are times if you're within reach, if you keep an eye out and you can do a last minute trip and there is a forecasted hurricane that might disrupt the central Florida area, sometimes you can get some really crazy last minute deals to get down here and, be safe and monitor everything. But sometimes that works. And then the first 2 weeks in December coming out of Thanksgiving before the real holiday rush tend to be pretty good time to go as well.
And then you get all the holiday stuff, which I love.
You still get all the holiday stuff. So another thing that we have partnered with Main Street Magic Travel is Total DVC.
Ooh.
So now we have the option of comparing regular Disney cash rates, whether they're rack rates or discounted or whatever, with renting DVC.
Awesome.
And there are times where you may get a deluxe resort renting via DVC on a great deal that can be the same price as booking direct through Disney at a moderate or sometimes even a value. So now we can compare those and say, oh, you're thinking of staying at, this value or this moderate? Well, This might be a good option for you to do DVC if you've never stayed in a deluxe resort.
Mm-hmm.
One of the final things that our travel agents will help you with is, depending on your length of stay, depending on how many times you go per year, they can help you compare. Does it make more sense to go ahead and get an annual pass than it may if you're just purchasing, tickets for that trip? So they can do those comparisons. Sometimes you're actually better off just getting an annual pass.
Yeah.
Again, depending on your current length of stay and how many times you go throughout the year. Now, one of the biggest things with saving money when you're going to Disney on a trip is, do you stay on property or do you stay off property?
Yes.
Sometimes this can be a no-brainer. This is one, we could do a whole episode on property versus off property and,
Yes.
Pros and cons.
Yeah.
Off property can be a great option to save money. A very good option. But here's what you want to look at.
There's a big but.
There is. One, you want to look at, are there resort fees?
Correct.
Okay. Make sure you factor those in. Are you bringing a car,
Mm-hmm.
or are you going to have to pay for a rental car?
Or an Uber.
Factor that in. Yeah. If you're renting a car or you're bringing a car, a lot of them have hotel parking.
Mm-hmm.
It also means you're going to have to pay when you go to the parks to park.
Mm-hmm.
So there's all that. What type of transportation do they have? A lot of these shuttles of the local hotels aren't that convenient.
Mm-hmm.
So all of a sudden, maybe you don't have a car, you don't have a rental car. Now you're factoring in Lyft and Uber.
Right.
Again, this is something the travel agents can help you with.
Yes.
They can book off-property hotels. They can make recommendations, but they can also compare, because sometimes it does make a lot more sense to simply stay on property.
Yes.
Even though the price tag looks bigger up front, it's not always bigger in the end, basically. So
absolutely.
all right, what are some ways, Rhonda, that you can save, either save up for your trip when you get on it, or you can save to pay for your trip as you're leading up to it, right?
Yeah. Gift cards are a big thing, birthdays and Christmases. You can go, can I have a Disney gift card, please? Can I have a Disney gift card? And then Jeremy has taught me, which is super cool. Let's say I have 15 gift cards, depending, like if you get one that's the 15 to 500, you can add all them together and put it on one card.
Yeah, up to $1,000 at DisneyGiftCards.com.
Nice.
So you can combine them. So yeah, if you were saying, you know what, I want to get, my birthday's coming up, I'm just gonna ask everybody for Disney gift cards, and you get 25 and 25 and 50 and 50 and 100 from Aunt Sally because she's got a little extra money or something. I don't know. But you and you're thinking, all right, well, now I got to go, hand these all to my travel agent. I go whatever. Just combine them, and you can pay towards it. But something you can do even outside of the birthdays and the Christmases and the whatevers is, just decide that maybe once a week or once a paycheck, you're just going to go buy a Disney gift card.
Yeah.
And
That's
whatever your budget is for that. If you say, look, every week I got an extra $25 or I've got an extra 50 or whatever it is, go buy it, stash it away.
Yep.
I mean, if you think about if you were able to do $25 a week for a year leading up to your trip, you have $1,200 when your trip comes about, spending money right there. So that can help a lot.
Yeah.
We tend to just go over to Publix and go ahead and get gift cards from there because we don't have anything more convenient, but you can go get discounted gift cards from Target.
Yep.
BJ's Wholesale. Best Buy often does them digital. They do digital sales online.
Oh, okay.
So you can do those as well. And those digital ones you can still put onto DisneyGiftCards.com and combine them as needed.
We need Costco to go.
I wish Costco would add them. And this is one where, again, you can put all these gift cards aside for when you actually go on your trip, or you can save these gift cards. And what if it's once a month, you're hitting up, one of our agents and saying, hey, we go ahead and make an X number dollar of payment, or again, 30 days prior to your trip, you say, you know what, I've got my $1,200 in gift cards. My balance is $1,100. Here, pay off my trip.
Nice.
And it's just so much better than, we often for trips set money aside.
Yes.
Week by week.
Yep.
And it adds up. And in the end, you go, wow, I've actually got money now for this trip, as opposed to it coming around and going, oh, shoot, I forgot to save and now I got to swipe a credit card or something. So don't want to do that. Same thing, if that's not your deal of doing gift cards and going to, maybe it's not convenient or you don't know how to do it online, you can go to your bank or credit union and they can set up a share account called Disney, and you can have them auto transfer every time either once a week or every time you get
Oh,
paid,
that's
they
cool.
can auto transfer money right into that account.
Oh, nice.
You don't see it. You know, you don't look in your checking account. You're just missing the $25, $50, whatever it may be. And again, at the end, you have this share account that you can now pull that money out or transfer to your checking and go ahead and pay it. What are maybe some like maybe non-traditional ways to save up some money for it, or just some what do we call them? Odd jobs maybe in general? Like what are some different things you can do just to get some extra money for your trip?
Well, you could totally have a yard sale. We do it in our neighborhood twice a year. Fall and summer, spring. Thank you. I'm like, when was it?
We're never here for them. We're always in Disney, so usually. We miss out on them.
Yeah, or if you can't do a yard sale, you can sell some items online if you have stuff. I've seen lately girls getting rid of purses or shoes they really haven't worn and stuff like that. I
have sitting behind me now because Rhonda cleaned out all her jewelry. I got to clean them up. 30 Alex and Ani bangles, like bracelets.
Yep.
And I'm going to clean them up, and then we're going to go back through them. If there's any, she's just like, hey, this has sentimental value. I want to hang on to it. We'll hang on to it, put it in a box somewhere. If not, I'm going to sell them on eBay. And it's one of those things. It all adds up.
Yeah.
You could go on eBay and you think, well, I probably only have like $100 worth of stuff. Okay, $100 more than you had.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like, so just go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
One of the things that I did leading up to our Christmas trip last year is I signed up for DoorDash.
Mm-hmm.
And whether you're working a full-time job or you're not, you could allot even just say every Saturday and Sunday morning for a few months leading up to the trip, I'm going to do DoorDash during the hot rush. I mean, I made over in the 2 to 3 weeks leading up. Now, I put a little extra time into it. I was able to, but I made close to $400 in those couple of weeks. It was not very taxing. It was only like 2 to 3 hours a day, 2 to 3 days a week for a couple of weeks, and I had $400 ready to go. Uber Eats, a lot of these things are super simple to sign up for, and they're perfect when you think, you know what? It's Saturday. I got nothing else to do. I got a Disney trip coming up. Maybe I can go out and make some bucks and go ahead and do that. There's lots of cashback credit cards, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Disney has their Chase Visa, which you can earn points, which go on a redemption card. Yeah, and get discounts with it as well. Same with they have a Chase debit card, which gives you discounts. But the redemption card for the Visa credit card, that's another one. If for a year leading up to your trip, you decide, all right, I'm going to pay a majority of my bills and then immediately pay them off. Be smart. We're not financial advisors, by the way.
No.
If you haven't noticed from how often we go to Disney, you can save up for that entire year. 2 weeks before you cash out your redemption, they give you a card used most anywhere within the parks and resorts, and it's literally like free money.
Yeah, your dad did that.
My dad does it.
Super cool.
Yeah, and now, when they were using it, he was only going like every couple of years. But there was one year, I think they covered 4 nights at Coronado Springs, and then still had money for food and stuff. So it really, really does add up. All right, Rhonda, when you're in, this is one that you can kind of save money before you get to the parks because you're going to want it when you're in the parks.
Yeah.
What is that? What can you also do?
You can get some souvenirs or apparel. I would suggest looking up apparel at mainstreetshirts.com. We've got some good ones on there, some fun ones.
Yeah, get your Be Nice to Cast membership.
Absolutely. Other ones such as of course, Amazon. And when I say Amazon, I mean, that is everything. Yeah. You can get autograph books. You can get cooling towels that are in Disney. You just look up Disney. It's amazing what they have. We like Kohl's because I have a Kohl's card and you get some Kohl's cash. And they have a lot of Disney shirts there. Often
they run, I know for the men's shirts for sure, they run 2 for $20. Yep. And they've got, again, we'd love for you to go to mainstreetshirts.com, but Kohl's has a slightly larger selection. So, check them out for sure.
And then now TJ Maxx and Ross, those type of places, they have Disney stuff, but it's very I don't know if you're finding apparel as much as I'm not sure what you're finding. unless you want to do stuff around your house.
Well, you may be able to find stuff like some stuffed animals and plushes.
yeah,
You know,
that's true.
some of those types of things.
Yeah.
A lot of times they'll have like little, and I'm thinking of much younger kids, they'll have like little tchotchkes, I guess you could call them. You know,
Yeah.
so you might be able to find things like that, whether just say it's a Frozen coloring book.
Yeah.
That, you know, just stuff to entertain your kids while they're there.
Yeah, that's
Or,
true.
you know, a fun thing to do is pick up some of these things ahead of time, and knowing that your kids are going to ask for stuff throughout the day, you go ahead and every morning before they wake up, you lay some stuff out, or in the morning go, hey, here's what you have today.
Yeah.
You know, and another going almost along with this is setting a budget where you could set, all right, I know look, you're going to want stuff when you get in the parks.
Yeah.
Not saying don't buy anything,
Oh, of course.
but as Rhonda mentioned with things like the cooling towels, I think it'd be absurd to pay twice as much money to buy a cooling towel in the park when you can get pretty much the exact same thing on Amazon for half the price.
Mhm.
There's just no reason to do it. That's not really a souvenir that you're excited to bring home.
Yeah.
That is a necessity for the park.
Yeah.
So things like that. Same with the autograph books.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea to do that, or get inventive. And this will save you a ridiculous amount of money. Go ahead and go to somewhere like Michael's, Hobby Lobby, whatever it is, and buy a mat for a frame, right?
Mhm.
Nice big mat, maybe an 8x10 with a whatever 11x14 mat. Take that with you. Use that as your autograph book.
Yeah.
And at the end of the trip, when you come home, you get one of your big 8.5x11 frame pictures of you and the family in front of the castle, and you frame it with all the autographs in that mat around it.
That'd be
That
cool.
costs you next to nothing.
Yeah.
So another really good thing you can do. Target, Walmart have apparel.
They have, yes, they do. They have some cute things, very cute things. So,
And I'll be 100% honest. If you get there and you're like, you have a car, especially if you have a car or a rental car on property, or even got a couple extra bucks for Uber, and you really want to load up on Disney apparel, take one of those Ubers to Publix or Walmart nearby Disney.
yeah, that's true.
They are loaded with Disney merchandise
Yeah.
and souvenirs for a fraction of the cost than
Mhm.
you're going to get in the parks.
Yep.
So that is another time.
Or if you have time, you could totally go over to the outlet.
Yeah, Character Warehouse.
Yep.
And that's one of those, you know, you could have, maybe you have a kid or you're just like, you know what, I don't want to buy this stuff ahead of time, or I don't have time or whatever. Get down there. Then still, for your kids, you can be like, no, we're in Disney. Like, look, this is Disney's Publix. Go ahead. Let's go shopping. They have a ton of stuff. All right.
That's funny.
Let's talk about some ways you can save on dining. We're not going to spend a ton of time here, simply because if you go back not that long ago to episode 554, we did Disney dining ways to save, and we break it down like crazy.
Okay.
So what are some ways, and again, we don't have to dive crazy deep into them. We did on episode 554. What are some ways that they can save on dining?
Well, they can get groceries and they can have them delivered. They can get them from Vacation Grocery Delivery, and you can get that at vacationgrocerydeliveryfl.com. They are the best. I've seen people, unfortunately, complain about other ones. This is a really good one. They're past cast members, former cast members, and they're fantastic people. And you can get whatever you want. You can get a few things. You can get a lot. You can get stuff to eat breakfast. If you're a breakfast person, Jeremy and I don't, so we skip breakfast, so that's nice.
But it's perfect for the snacks. It's perfect for sodas in the room, water in the room. You don't have to pay for those. It's perfect to get, I mean, they can do sandwich platters. They can, even if you just want to get deli meats and breads and
pub
cheeses, get pub subs. So really, really highly recommend you do that. Whether you're flying in or you're driving in, you know, I know if you're driving in, you could technically bring a cooler, but why bother? They've got one set delivery fee, and they do not mark up items like every other place.
Yep.
In the end, they often come out cheaper than if you're just trying to shop for yourself. We learned that the hard way because of impulse buys.
Mhm.
So that's why they work so well.
Yes.
And then again, with your Vacation Grocery Delivery, Florida, FL.com, what can you then bring into the parks that you can save some money on dining?
Well, you can pack lunches and snacks, sandwiches. Like, you can bring, it's nice because they don't limit you on what you can bring. In fact, I remember calling one time and asking if I could bring a whole pizza just because I was curious. And she said yes.
Yeah.
So, you know, and then split meals, get a kid's meal. Like, I used to do that. Like, if Jeremy wanted something, I might get a kid's meal because I wanted a burger, but not a large burger.
Yeah.
I wanted a kid's burger. Avoid multiple family style or buffets because they are expensive. I would suggest doing one for sure. They're
For
fun.
sure.
They're
Yeah.
very fun,
Well,
but it's a lot of food.
It is. And when you get to these, this is priced per person.
Yes.
So, you can go, like she's saying, split meals or get a kid's meal. You can't do that at family style or buffets.
Right.
If you can't split a buffet. It is
Correct.
priced per person. So it is a lot more than if you go to a regular a la carte style restaurant where you can split or do kids meals and things like that.
Right. And so is character dining. And if you want to do that, breakfast is usually your cheaper option.
Yeah.
And they have really good breakfast.
Yeah.
We've really ventured out. Like I said earlier, Jeremy and I skip breakfast, but we ventured out and started doing some. So really it is a great way to do a character breakfast, but cheaper.
Yeah.
Because of course lunch and dinner is always more expensive. Free water. I know a lot of people don't like the Florida water, but a lot of people do. And you can go up to any place that does sell fountain Cokes, and they will have water that they will give you for free, a cup of ice and water. And especially during the hot season like this, they will give you bigger ones if you need. If you have a water bottle or a refillable mug that you do get and you bought at the resort, and you can fill it up and then bring it into the park.
Yeah.
And you can fill it back up with water. You can't refill it in the parks with Coke and stuff unless you buy one and then pour it into it. Basically, it's not going to keep it cold like if you have other
Right.
water bottles and
Yeah.
stuff. But
yeah, refillable mugs are a great way, especially if
Absolutely.
you're spending a lot of time at the resort. If
Yep.
you didn't do that vacation grocery delivery for whatever reason and got sodas yourself, go ahead and get the refillable mug. What else can you refill that will save you on snacks throughout the entire trip and bring you home a
Popcorn.
souvenir?
Yes, popcorn.
This is double whammy.
Yes, popcorn. And there's so many neat buckets out there. And, you can get a traditional one, just a regular bucket. But they're, like Jeremy said, that will be your little souvenir. And you can refill any souvenir bucket, which is super cool. So if you do love the souvenir one and you're like, all right, and I think it is only like $2.50.
It's $2.25 or $2.50 now to do that refill, as
And
opposed to
that's-
$4.50, $5 if you're
Yep.
buying them fresh every time.
Yep.
Basically.
Perfect.
So makes a lot of sense. Take advantage of the discounts if you have them.
Right. Always ask.
Yeah, annual pass holder, and this is on merchandise and food. Ask every time.
Yes.
Because it will vary. This is on annual pass holders, DVC members, the Disney Visa that we talked about earlier. Now, there are also, most recently came out, there are these dining promos, right? So like right now, you can get up to $1,000 in dining credit for a 5-night non-discounted room and ticket package. So this is going to vary from whether you're staying at a value to a deluxe.
And we're going to try to do this, right?
No, we can't do this one because it's a ticket package only. Has to be a full package. So, but this is another one where Main Street Magic Travel and the agents come into handy.
Absolutely.
This is non-discounted rooms. So they can compare, all right, here's what it looks like if you get a discounted room package and no dining promo card. Here's what it looks like if you get this dining promo card. The dining promo is not always going to be cheaper in the long run.
Right.
But they'll help you compare that.
Nice.
Another way to help save money. Dining plan can be a good way to save money on dining. Maybe.
Yes. And that comes back 2024.
Yes. And all I will say, because we cannot dive into that one, both of our heads will explode immediately.
Yes.
Go back to episode 574. Is the Disney dining plan worth it? We broke it down to every penny, every dollar, and whether it is worth it for you or your family. Some it is, some it is not.
Yeah.
This can be a huge way to save on either end. It's a big way to save if it worked for you, and it's a big way to save to not get it if it doesn't work for you.
Right.
So just kind of think about that. If you plan really well, you can get by without getting a park hopper.
Yes.
Right?
I agree.
Let's just say you have a 7 to 10 day trip.
Yeah.
And you've done your research, you know how to hit the things you want. You probably won't need a park hopper.
Correct.
If you have a very short trip and it's just a quick weekend and you want to hit all 4 parks, you might need one. So go ahead and take a look at it. But it's not a given that you have to get a park hopper.
Correct.
Right? And wouldn't you say the same goes with purchasing Genie Plus in some of the lightning lanes?
Oh, absolutely.
This is a sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. Especially depending on when you're there. If you're there during the week, it might be some slower times. What's really cool is correct me if I'm wrong, you can purchase it anytime. So if all of a sudden you see that, oh, wow, the waits are a lot longer, we can go ahead and purchase it. Which, I mean, sometimes if you're going to be there during the week, I would say definitely wait and see what's going on.
So again, a lot of these are dependent on your party, your family, but you can certainly save a lot of money if you skip Park Hopper, Genie Plus, Lightning Lanes, even if that Genie Plus and Lightning Lane isn't for every day. Same thing, you may not find that you're going to need to spend Genie Plus on your day that you go to Animal Kingdom or Epcot.
Right.
You know, you may not need that Lightning Lane if you follow our virtual queue ideas to secure Tron or Cosmic Rewind, and you just want to ride it once that day that you're at those parks. Save money on Lightning Lane. Do your research. Go ahead and.
But if you do have to buy Genie Plus, at least they have made it cheaper on different days.
I mean, it varies. Yeah, it varies per park per day. But you can also, if you do have that Park Hopper, you can also purchase it for all 4 parks or individual parks. So it is still something you really want to look at. We're gonna have to do a whole other Genie Plus update episode.
I didn't mean to make your head explode.
Something else now. If you're big into on-ride photos, this isn't going to be for you to skip.
Right.
But if you just want to get some good photos of your family in front of the castle, in front of with characters, things like that, you can skip Memory Maker, and you can hand your phone over to a cast member, and they will take a picture with your phone or with your own personal camera.
Yep.
$169 can be very well worth it for Memory Maker.
Oh, yes, it can be.
But can also save you a lot of money if you don't find that that's necessary. I just saw a post in a Facebook group, and I felt bad for the people because your Memory Maker photos will expire after a year.
Yes.
And they said, I never downloaded them. What do I do now? Well, you may have wasted $169. Now, I'm guessing they can contact Disney, and Disney's going to help them out. But in general, it's like, okay, that didn't do you a lot of good if you do not take advantage of it.
Correct.
You know, we have PhotoPass add-on with our passes, our annual passes that we added on for the $99 a year, which is well worth it. We got all the on-ride photos. But how many times have we left a park and been like, we didn't even get one photo pass?
I know.
So imagine you're doing that with Memory Maker. You get caught up, you get whatever. You're not going to come back and be like, dang, we didn't get any photos because we didn't get Memory Maker. You're going to have 1 million on your phone.
Yes.
So it's a good way to save a little bit of money.
Yes.
Another one is, skip the upcharge events.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Especially on a day that maybe you're already booking a park.
Yes.
If you're going to do the Halloween party, you're going to do the Christmas party, you're going to do an after-hours party.
Absolutely.
Don't double it with the day that you've already purchased a park ticket.
And plus, usually these run a lot later.
Yeah.
And you want to, hang out and relax.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be too tired.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just a general. That's not even about saving money. Just don't double up a park ticket day with a party night or an upcharge event night. It's just going to be too much.
And the next thing you could totally do is get free stuff. And yes, there's actually some free stuff with Disney. If you go back to episode 326, we talk about our favorite free experiences at Disney World. But some of the things, like I said, you can get are celebration buttons, birthday, anniversaries.
Getting me one on Thursday. I'll tell you that much. Getting me a birthday button.
Excited?
I'm very, very excited.
Good.
We got this was just super impressive because we're staying at Wilderness Lodge just for the one night, and we did book club at the Old Faithful Club, and I got an email today from the Old Faithful Club cast basically saying, we're excited about your stay. Just to make your stay even better, here's a couple things. Please reply. Let us know if you have any questions. Let us know your arrival time so we can be ready for you. Let us know any questions you had. It was super cool. And I got that email today, 1 week out, and I'm like, oh, it's coming.
It's a week.
I'm so excited. So I responded.
Nice.
I said, if I see a single pickle anywhere in Old Faithful Club. No, but it did. One of the things it did say, please alert us ahead of time of any food allergies.
Did you say
or
pickles?
Dietary restrictions? I did not. Of course I didn't.
Well,
but I think that's amazing. I'm so excited for this. This is going to be so fun. So, all right, we'll keep going. You can find hidden Mickeys all throughout, right?
Yep.
That's a fun one.
That's fun to play, especially with the kids and stuff. Disney does have a Disney Play app, which is fun, and you can play that and let the kids play that. There's an animation experience at Animal Kingdom. There's festival entertainment, which is always fun.
Yeah, I mean, you get right now with Eat to the Beat, you have the Garden Rock series, and you don't have to do a dining package.
Yep.
You know, again, if you plan accordingly, you can either get into the American Gardens Theater and have a seat, or you can stand in the back and check them out.
Yep.
And then there's just, I mean, again, entertainment throughout that are things that feel extra that you don't actually have to pay any money for.
Yes.
What are a couple things at the resorts?
Movies under the stars, which I always love.
Yeah.
Poolside activities, and depending on where you're staying, they always have them everywhere. But when you get to moderate and deluxe, I feel like they have a little more.
Yeah, they step it up.
They do. Depending again where you're staying, you can watch the electrical water pageant. That's super fun. If you're staying at any of the Magic Kingdom resorts and over at Fort Wilderness, that's super neat to watch. Even Wilderness Lodge, where we'll be staying next week. I'm super excited. We can watch it.
I'm just sitting here now and I'm like, oh, I got to start making a plan. And maybe I'll email my buddies back at Old Faithful because I'd love to do movies under the stars there. We haven't done it any resort in a long, long time. We're spending an entire day at the resort.
Yep.
We're not leaving it by the time we show up. So
I
would like to do that.
For sure.
We're not. I did not make a park reservation.
You did not.
I was tempted to do Magic Kingdom.
Yeah,
Like, we'll shoot over and
do
ride Tron. No.
Okay.
Not going to do it.
Okay.
But yeah, I'd like to check out the pool or the movies under the stars. I'd like to do some poolside activities. I'd like to do the electrical water pageant, enjoy the club area. Like, so we'll have a very eventful day.
Yeah.
But look at this though. Okay. So we spent the money. I mean, honestly, that is one thing you could look at is club level at some places. You know, how much does your family eat or drink, both non-alcoholic and alcoholic beverages, right? And what is the cost comparison if you're able to take advantage of club level, especially when it comes to things like breakfast? If you're a rope drop to park close, club level is not going to work for you.
Correct.
Right? But if we like to get up and have breakfast at the resort. Check that off your list because club level offers it.
Yep.
Very good ones. And you think, you know what? We usually like a midday break back at the room and, ends up, we usually go down to the pool bar and pay for a drink. Oh, club level's going to, hit you there. And then maybe go back to the park and you decide, well, we usually like to go back to the resort a little bit early and we like to wind down there. They're going to serve heavy hors d'oeuvres, which can act as a dinner with, again, drinks, desserts, things like that. So it might be something to look into. But
absolutely.
I'm super excited for that. So
yes.
There are a lot of ways to save on the trip, and hopefully we covered most, if not all of them. So hope this was super helpful. But honestly, number one is start with mainstmagictravel.com. You can fill out a form for a free quote. Again, they can compare discounts, offers, packages, APs, regular park tickets, park hoppers, all that type of stuff. Help you out there. So thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you're enjoying this Disney Prep series. And what we're hoping moving forward with this is even if you're a Disney veteran, that you can still pick up some tips and tricks from all these types of episodes. I believe the next one we're going to do in the series is selecting your Disney resort. Where do you want to stay?
Okay.
So if you want to get that episode, many more, including our upcoming 600th episode, which is absolutely insane to think about.
Yes,
and it's going to be a very fun one that I better start preparing for. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. If you want to follow along with all the adventures coming up and join our very private Facebook group, check out our Patreon group at wonderlandcrew.com, mainstreetshirts.com for those Be Nice to Cast Member shirts and many other designs. And then finally, you know that we'd be super duper thankful if you could go ahead and leave us a rating and review.
Because it helps our show grow.
That's all we've got. We'll see you real soon.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.